This conference will now be recorded.
We are going to start rows, images, rows, right? So, so there are two types of privileges. One is system privilege. System privilege. So there are two types of privileges. One is system privilege. First is system. Second one is object privileges, right? So second one is object. So further we can classify these system privileges. So I'm giving some of the examples. So you need to understand what is exactly the system privilege and what is exactly the object privilege. So better to define that thing. Just I'm unsharing the screen, right?
Okay.
So better to define. I will use that PDF because okay. So privileges are basically two types. One is system privileges. Second one is object privilege. Now, when we talk about system privilege, that means that we are going to change something on database level, right? So, when we are talking about system privilege, so that will be the privileges that you are going to change anything on database level.
Okay.
When we talk about the object privilege, so that is the thing that you are manipulating or you are changing some permission on specific objects. Objects are what? Objects means table, indexes, right? Synonym, sequences, all these
So
are
anything.
objects,
Okay.
right?
So would you describe an object as anything inside a schema?
Exactly,
Any.
exactly,
Okay. Anything
exactly.
inside.
So inside the schema, whatever the thing, yesterday I have given example of classroom and the students. So students are objects. So I mean to say at that time was that objects means whatever the things those are existing in your schema. And what are the things existing in your schema? That can be table or index or sequence, synonyms, views, procedure, function, triggers. All these are objects, and the owner of that owner of those objects is the schema or the user which has created that object by default. Okay.
Okay.
So the thing is, let's assume you are giving a privilege create table, right? So whether it will be the system privilege or object privilege.
System.
Why?
Because he needs access to the whole database.
Create table. I am saying create table privilege. Means if you are giving create table privilege, then whether it will be the system privilege or will be the object
Oh,
privilege.
sorry, it'll be objects.
Why? Again, my
Because
question is why? Yeah,
he
go ahead.
needs it will be object because he's trying to add a new object into the schema. He's trying to add a new he's trying to add a new table into the schema.
So means whenever I am giving a privilege create table, so you are able to add a object inside the schema, right? Are you saying
Yes.
right?
Yes, right.
So so don't you think that whenever you are going to create any object inside the schema, you are going to change something on your database?
It should be
Yeah,
system.
right.
Yeah.
So if you are giving any privilege, so now you will see any keyword here, right? Any keyword here. So whenever a privilege has been given with any keyword, that means that privilege is applicable to all these keywords. Let's assume yesterday I have created that O by user, right? Now
Okay.
that O by user, if I will give a privilege, select any table, right? If I will
Okay.
give a privilege, select, and there are two types of privilege. One is select table, another privilege select any table. So any keyword is coming in between, right? Now, if I will give select any table privilege to that OBA user, so that OBA user is able to access, able to select any schemas object, right? So any type of privilege is very security problem. What it's means if you have given any a privilege with any keyword, then that user can use that privilege with any of this, right? So just like here I have given a privilege select any table, so OVA can select values from the table from any of the schema,
Okay.
right?
So it's got
So
full
any,
access.
yeah, there are, yeah, full access on the database. Means whether you have created that object or not, whether you have created that object or not, but you are able to access that object because you have select any table privilege, right? So any keyword is very means what I can say, very dangerous, right? So if you have given a privilege with any keyword, then that privilege can make disaster. Like you have given drop any table privilege, so that user is able to drop any schemas object. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm repeating once again. There are two types of privilege. One is system privilege. Another one is object privilege. You have to recognize that whether it is a system privilege or object privilege on the basis of whether that privilege is going to change on database level or on object level. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. So moving ahead. So
So it's just to do with authorization of objects.
sorry.
So it's just
Can
to
you
do.
please come again?
So it's
What you
just
say?
So privileges is all about the control of authorization with objects.
Yeah. Yesterday
Access.
what I have did. Yesterday what I have not given create any table privilege, right? I have not given
Okay.
create any table privilege, right? So that user was not able to create any object in his own schema because
Okay.
that user don't have that privilege. But when I have given that create table privilege to that user, so that user is able to create that object on his own schema. So everything is related to privileges, and we can control user to doing thing by using these privileges, right?
Okay.
So 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 we mean always we will do the thing that is means whatever the things you want to allow that user, only we will provide those privileges to that user, right?
Okay.
So here you can see there are some demonstrations of there are some listing of your system privilege. So you can see alter session, create database link, create sequences, create session, create synonyms, create view, right? And any privilege related to, privilege related to any keyword with any keyword, those are system privileges, right? And object privileges are what?
Um, enables the user to access specific objects.
Yeah. Specific object means you are going to provide that privilege on a specific object. So this diagram is related to uh, enterprise manager. But
Okay.
starting with 12c that has been depreciated, and enterprise X plus has been in means introduced. And so don't focus on that. That's why I am not opening all these scripts in front of you.
Okay.
So all these diagrams are from enterprise manager, right? I will show you and demonstrate you what is enterprise manager basically, right?
Right.
So next thing is benefit of privileges. Sorry, benefit of privileges. Benefit of privileges are what? You can specify a specific privilege to a specific user, right? Instead of defining all the privileges or all the privileges to that user, you just define a specified privileges to that user, whatever the role of that user. Role means whatever the work related privileges you will provide them. Like that user never creates a table, so why you will give a create table privilege? That user never do alter table statement, right? So why you are giving that alter table privilege to that user? That user only select the data for reporting purpose, so just give the select table privilege to that user, right?
Right.
And the syntax is grant and the privilege name to username. Yesterday I have shown you that syntax. If you have gone through my video, then you will see I have used grant keyword, grant thereafter the privilege name to username. So that privilege has been provided to that user, right? This is the way to provide system privilege, right? So just like if I want to give create table privilege to OBA, right? So whether I have used that privilege, any one of the privilege. Okay, here you can see. So that is the password. Here I have given some privileges. Yeah, so you can see grant create session to Oracle. Oracle is the username and this is the privilege name. So if you don't have that privilege, create session privilege, then you are not able to create, means you are not able to log into that schema. So to log into that schema, you require this create session privilege. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is just an syntax to create to provide privilege to a to an user, right?
Okay.
So next thing is rows, right? So before of going rows, so just I will create an user and thereafter I will provide create user OBA identified by OBA, right? And I will not giving anything else because all those things will be considered by default. By default, whatever the default table space that will be given to OBA to storage object by default, unlimited privilege, unlimited quota on that table space will be given to OBA, right? I just given identified by OBA, right? A user will
Okay.
be created, OBA user will be created, right? Now I have to provide create such a privilege to OBA. So grant create create session to, right? Now OBA is able uh, to log in, right?
Okay.
Now there are one another thing, right? Just if you have given grant create session to OBA with admin option, right? No, this new keyword with admin option, right? So I have given create session privilege to OBA with admin option, right? What
Okay.
it mean that OBA can pass that privilege to any other user, right? So I will create another user. So create user, sorry,
Okay. So it's just the syntax. It's just grants and then whatever privilege you want to give, and then the user.
with admin option, yes. So just to understand you that I'm creating another user, ME, right? Identified by ME again, ME, right? Now I will log in with OBA. So connect OBA slash OBA. OBA is the password, right? Now, you in which user you are, right? Show user. So you are in OBA user. Now grant grant create session to ME. Grant succeeded. Why? Why?
Because
You have
um
given that, yeah, you have given that create session privilege to OBA with admin option.
or
Means
with
OBA can pass, yeah, OBA can pass that system privilege to any other user, right? Now, now connect. Is it? And now I'm taking that create session privilege from OBA back, right? I'm taking back. So revoke create session from OBA. So at the given time, I will use grant, right? And the privilege name to username. And when I am taking back that privilege, I will use revoke and the privilege name from the username. So that has been revoked. Now I will try to log in with OVA. Connect OVA / OVA. So what you are getting? Because I have taken back that privilege from OVA, so OVA is not able to log in because I have taken back that create session privilege from OVA. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
So again, SQL, and I will try to connect me/me. You have logged in, right?
Right.
Show user. So what it's mean basically? Now I am summarizing everything once again. So I have created a user OVA. I have given that create session privilege to OVA with admin option. I have created another user ME, right? And I have given create session privilege to ME from OVA user, right? From
Right.
login with OVA user, because I have given that create session privilege to OVA with administration option, admin option. So OVA is entitled to give or to pass that privilege to any other user,
Okay.
right? Now, what I have did after that, I have revoked that create session privilege from OVA. So OVA is not able to log in because I have revoked that create session privilege. But ME is able to log in.
Okay.
In spite of that, OVA has given that privilege to ME. Now OVA is not able to log in, but ME is able to log in.
Because it's
That
not before.
means, yeah, that means that whatever the privilege has been given with admin option to any user, and if that user will pass that privilege or grant that privilege to any other user, and if that privilege has been revoked from first user, still that privilege will remain with second user or the third user, whatever the first user, whomsoever the first user has passed that privilege.
Okay. So how can they be revoked then?
How can I revoke that privilege from ME? So just
Yeah.
I have to write that syntax: revoke create session from ME individually by using from sys user,
Okay.
right? So
Right.
means not that mean that OVA has passed that privilege to ME. So if you will revoke that privilege from OVA, then that privilege will not be revoked from ME. That privilege will retain with ME. I have one doc regarding that, but that has been there in this slide or not. No, that is not here. Just I am unsharing this complete.
Okay.
Yeah. What is this? I have already told you how to see the alert log, right? Okay.
Pardon?
I have already told you how to see, means I have already taken the class of that
Yes.
alert log.
Wait.
Actually, this book covers completely that. Yeah. Are you able to see?
Um. Yes. Yes.
So this picture is defining the same thing whatever I have explained you
Yeah.
uh, on by using syntax. So DBA has given privilege to Jeff, any privilege to Jeff with admin option, right? And
Yeah.
Jeff has given that privilege to Emmy, right? But meanwhile, what happened? DB has taken that privilege from Jeff, but Emmy is still contained. That privilege will not be revoked from Emmy, right?
Right.
So the general sentence will become grant, grant, and thereafter the privilege name, system, privilege, sorry, name, right? And or privilege name or role name. What is roles? I will tell you. Roles name, right? I'm including role on this as well. Now you can put multiple values here, multiple system rows, comma, by putting comma means grant create table, comma create session, comma create procedure, comma alter table, comma, right? So like that you will give multiple privileges in comma and thereafter to username. Same things I will have another system. And so on, right? And thereafter to to and you can give username, or role name, or you can even specify public keyword as well. Public means that permission will be given to all these schemas, all the users, right? So you can also specify this thing means let's say you want to give that privilege to more than one user. So by putting comma, you can define. So right thereafter, at last, if you want, then you can give with admin option. Right? That's it. Grant thereafter just right. So this is a general syntax to create a privilege. Right. Next thing is roles. What is roles? So this video, very good picture should be there. Okay. So before going to rows, you just means first of all I am going to cover the object privilege. Now here in this example, object privilege is what means you are doing something on particular object, right? So let's create an object on this. Create. Now first of all I will give create session grant create session to OVA, right? So both OVA and ME now have create session privilege. So I am connecting with OVA, right? And going to create. It also have no create privilege. So grant create table create table comma update table. Missing this. Um, Whether I have to put any keyword in between because these are object privilege, I think so. Right? So first of all, I am giving create table only. Thereafter, I will give rest of it. Okay. So now the point is, over will create a table. Create table in ID number 3 name. So on list over right. So that table has been created inside over schema. Okay. Now I will give select privilege on this A object to O1, right? Now, sorry, to ME. So grant update 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 on oba dot a, right, to me, right. Friends, it's easy. You can give this privilege means you just to recognize that the syntax is little bit different. Grant and the object privilege name on which object you want to give. A over dot a means A is the table name, OVA is the schema name, OVA's A table to ME, right? Now here, if you want to allow ME to pass that update privilege to any other user, so in case of system privilege, you was using with admin option. Here you will same thing you will use with grant option. Grant grant option, right? Now I will create another user. Create user. Wow. Identity identify. Wow. Okay. There is already a user with wow. So alter user wow identity identify wow account, right? So one user is OVA a table A with name A has been created inside OVA. I have given to access that A table to ME with grant option. That means ME can pass that privilege to any other user. So I'm connecting with ME. Right? Now I will pass that privilege to POW. So I'm in ME user. I'm passing that privilege to POW. Right? So show user ME. So ME has passed that privilege to POW. Now ME will select something. Select, sorry, update something. I'm inserting some value. Opa A and therefore one comma using select keyword. Grant. Oh, sorry. The syntax is insufficient privilege. Oh, I don't have insert table privilege, so I will give grant insert table any table to Oba. Okay, I'm logged in with Emi. So I'm coming with system. So I'm giving. So Oba will insert some value. No privilege of table altered. So again I will run because I have assigned some quota to that Koba user, right? Inserted. So again I will change again some value, right? Okay. So commit grant select. So select. So there are three values in OBAS A table. Now by using ME, I am going to update something because we have given to update privilege to ME to update that A table. See, right? So we
Right.
have given that update privilege to update OBAS A table to ME, and ME has passed that privilege to POW. So login with ME, connect ME slash ME. Now update OBA dot A set set ID is equals to 10 where ID is equals to 1. So what ME is doing, ME is updating OBAS table. Now I will log in with POW. So connect POW slash POW, right? And update something. OBA dot 20 where ID is equals to 2, right? And commit, right? So if I will select, so that value has been changed, right? Now what I will do, the over we have given the update privilege to ME, and ME has passed that privilege to POW. So I am taking back that privilege from ME. Evoke update on OVA dot A from ME. Cannot, Acha, okay. So exit because I have given princess user. So right. So I have revoked that privilege from ME. Now let's try to log in with ME to update with ME. So connect. So previously I have shown you to update from ME as well as from POW because both have privilege to update OBAS table record. So connect ME because I have revoked privilege from ME. Now let's again will try to update. So I will run the same syntax, right? So table of view. Are you getting that message? Right? Table of view does not exist because we have revoked that privilege from ME. Now ME is able to update its own object only, right?
Okay.
Similarly, if I will try to run from POW, insufficient privilege, right? So what it means that in case of object privilege, if administrator has passed that privilege to first user and with grant option, and first user is passed that privilege to second user, and if administrator will take back that privilege from first user, then automatically that same privilege will be taken back from second user, right?
Okay.
So there is a difference between system privilege with admin option and object privilege with grant option. In case of system privilege, if you are taking back that privilege from first user, then that privilege will not be taken back from second user. Second user will retain that privilege. But in case of object privilege, you have given with admin option, because there is no with sorry, you have given with grant option because there is no syntax with admin option. So if you are giving any privilege, object privilege, then you have to use with grant option if you want to allow that user to pass the same privilege to any other user, right? So in case of object privilege, if first user has passed that privilege to second user and DBA will take back that privilege from first user, then automatically the same privilege will be taken back from second user as well, as we are seeing here, right?
Right.
So similar same has been demonstrated here. Bob has passed that privilege to Jeff. Jeff has passed that same privilege to Amy, because Bob has given that privilege to Jeff with grant option, and Jeff has entitled to pass that privilege to any other user, provide that privilege to any other user. So similarly, Jeff has given that privilege to Amy. But meanwhile, what happens? Bob has taken back that privilege from Jeff. Automatically, that same privilege will be taken back from Amy as well.
Okay.
Right? This is the case. This was the case of system privilege, but in case of object privilege, that has been taken from second user. Now, now, what is rows? What is rows? Rows are the bundle of privileges, right? What is rows? Rows are the bundle of privileges.
Okay.
What it means? You will create a bundle of privilege, but you will assign that bundle to a specific user. So automatically, whatever the privilege you have, there is echo coming from your side. I don't know why. That
Pardon?
just, an echo is coming from your side. That just has been started. No, it is okay. No, it is okay.
Okay.
So rows are the bundle of privileges, right? And let's assume you have given 10 privilege and created a role, right? Automatically, when you will assign that role to any user, automatically those 10 privilege which you have mentioned in role, when you are creating role, automatically those 10 privileges will be assigned to that user or that scheme. Now, I am giving you an example. Let's assume you are working somewhere, right? Or you are studying right now. There are many teachers are teaching you, right? So everybody have similar type of privileges. Like if I will take your maths teacher, it has privilege to write something note on your notebook, right, or in your diary. Second thing is he has right, or he or she has right to check your copies. He has right to take the exam, right? So he has right to provide you homework, right? He has right to ask you anything like what is the table of 20 or what is the table of 19, right? Like that. Right? This is just an example. Similar type of privileges, similar type of permission are with science teacher as well, your arts teacher as well, right? So both means whatever means all the teachers have similar type of privileges. So what I have created a role and assign all those privileges to that role. So instead of providing multiple different privileges to all the users, just assign a single role to all the users. So what happened automatically? All those privileges, those you have mentioned inside that role, that all will be assigned to that user. So that's why easier privilege management, dynamic privilege management, and selective availability of privileges. Right? This last point is almost clear. Selective availability of privileges means you have selected, you have given and created a privilege. You have given certain privileges and created a role, and you are assigning that role to that schema. Dynamic privilege management. Let's assume previously your all the teachers have privilege to punish you, right? And that is one of the privilege of that role. But your principal said one day that no teacher can punish any of the students.
Okay.
So what happened? That punish privilege has been taken out from your role. So automatically, what happened? To whom that role has been given, automatically that punish privilege will automatically revoked.
Okay.
Got my point?
Yes, sir.
So instead means, let's assume you have given multiple privilege one by one to all the users, right? So what you need in this case, what you have to do, you have to revoke that punish privilege from all the users.
Okay.
But here you was smart, and you have created a role of multiple privileges, and you have taken that privilege from that role, and you have already assigned that role to multiple users.
Okay. So it's
So
automatically revokes from.
yeah, to whom that role is, and you have taken back, revoked that privilege from role, and those users have already assigned that role. So automatically those user will that privilege will be revoked from those users as well.
Okay.
Okay, so roles are the bundle of privileges. You can add any privilege to role, and you can take back any privilege from role as well,
Okay.
and that privilege will be added to that user because that user is containing that role, right? So means if graphically I will tell you, let's assume this is a role, right? Inside that role you have multiple privilege like this, right? Like this, right? And like this. These are, just assume these are the privileges, multiple privileges, right? Now you have assigned that role to multiple users, so automatically those users will contain all these privileges because these privileges are the part of that user. So this is role, this is complete role, right? Role, and this is in these are the privileges, right? So once you will assign that role to a user, automatically those privileges will also be assigned to that user. But one day what happened, I means you want to take back chatting privilege to that user, right? So you have removed that chatting privilege from role, automatically that also be removed from the users as well. Okay,
Okay.
so the syntax is same, just like a user creation, create role name, right?
Okay. So
Create role and overall. Right? Now, if you want to give a permission to that role, so grant, just like you are giving permission to user, grant session, session, right? Alter session, comma, created, comma, update any table. Right? These are some sufficient to role name opa underscore, right? So you have assigned that privilege to that role. Now you will assign that role to any user. Grant opa underscore role to opa. Opa is the user, right? So automatically opa will get all these privileges. Will get all these, right? Now meanwhile, someday it has decided that you cannot you cannot do alter session, so you just revoke from where? You need not to revoke from the over, you just revoke that privilege from role. Revoke alter session from over underscore role. So automatically those you have assigned that over underscore role, automatically that alter session privilege will also be revoked from those users. So this is dynamic management of roles, right? You can also put a password on a role as well. Create role name identified by password, like that, right? So create role name a identified by X, right? So that your role you cannot assign now that role. So I will assign some privilege to that role as well, right? No, no, I'm assigning that role to any user. Grant opa underscore role underscore e to right? Okay.
Okay, that's clear.
So if you want to drop role, drop role name opa underscore drop role opa underscore role underscore, right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So from here you can see what are the what are the roles, and what are the privileges and all. You have some data dictionaries. DSC, DBA underscore. So there are three types of data dictionary basically. One is DBA. I have already told you, like I think DBA, and yeah, I've already told you or not. DBA says prefs means every means let's assume if you want to see the tables, how many tables are there? So tables, DB underscore tables, right? Tables. So it will show you. Similarly, instead of DBA, you can also you have all underscore tables, right? You also have means whatever the I mean thing you are using with DBA, you can use with all. Either you can use with user. So there are three types of such data dictionary is used. Now, what is the difference between all underscore tables or all underscore sequences, or means by using all DB or users? User means that performance view, that data dictionary will contain that specific users detail metadata only. But if you will use all underscore, then that will contain all users metadata,
Okay.
right? And if you have used DBA underscore, then that will contain DBA means this schema as well as all users metadata. So there are three type of data dictionaries. So you can get it here as well in this PDF. Just find it, right? You will get whatever the PDF I have shared with you. You will get on that. Okay, so there are three types, means there are following data dictionaries where you can find out the privileges related information. So DBA, I'm going with DBA only. DSC, DB underscore sys underscore plus, right? So it will show you all the system privileges, right? Who is the grantee and what is the privilege, whether admin option has been used or not. So set line on grant. Select star, right? It will show you all the privileges, right? It will show you all the privileges, and whether it has admin option or not. You can see it has admin option, right? So it is showing all the users data, right? It is showing all the users data. Okay, so you can see it, right? So DBA, 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 BI, SIS, HR, PM, OBA, everything you will see. Okay. Session level privilege, DSC, session, right? So session level privilege you will get it here, right? Single, one single one, right? So this session has following privileges, 208 privileges. Table level privilege, if you want to see the table level privilege like object privilege, so these tab prefs is the table, right? Right. Similarly, is DBA underscore. So whatever wherever I'm using DBA, you can use all as well as users as well. You want to see the column level privilege, right? So this is all about your privileges, right? So, so we have covered all this user management and privileges. Okay. So I am ending this class here right now. So you have 1 week time. Please revise everything, whatever I have taught you for this time.
Alright.
Alright. So I am ending the session right now. Is there any question?
Um, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So there is fridge, right? Just I will stop the recording. Thereafter I will tell you.